The law of attraction, is this legit or is this completely BS? I'm more so on the side that it is mainly BS and is mainly used just to for people to psychologically cling on to something so that they persevere. And so if that's the function of it, admit that this is the function and don't go beyond this. Now, another part of that, and why I think it's more on the BS side, is because it comes down to just logic and numbers and rationale. So when you look at the numbers behind it, no matter how much you will or believe or you know, put out to the world that you want a supermodel girlfriend, but all you do 24/7 is sit in your basement and play video games, it just can't logically manifest unless a girl comes into your house. And so the chances of that are really, really low. There's still a chance it could happen if she's like your mail lady or she's like a cable girl or something like that, but it's just a very low chance that this will actually manifest. Maybe by chance it will occur, like some supermodel cable girl just like so happens to fix your cable one day, and then, you know, by luck of the draw you somehow manage to win her over despite all the competition out there. But you are relying so much on this hope rather than doing what you can to actually increase your chances by hard numbers, facts, science, and simple supply and demand. So I do get very frustrated, angry, and very skeptical when law of attraction does come up because of these reasons. Because when you use actual data, you realize that even something as like dating, it's not completely quantifiable. There's like emotional intelligence and soft skills that play into it, but a lot of it is like it's supply and demand. What's the gender ratio in your city? If you're going to events and you're only going to 2 events a week and it's 90% males at each of these events, then your chances of meeting a girl drastically reduce. So there's gender ratio at play, there's competition at play, supply and demand at play. Who are you competing against? Who will actually have you based off their options on the market? There's evolutionary biology, like do you embody the traits that a woman has genetically been honed to be attracted to over millions of years? You know, certain shoulder to waist ratio, certain level of intelligence, practical, emotional, social, academic. Academic's probably the worst form, by the way. And there's all these other things at play that you can kind of improve upon to increase your chances. But just by the simplest math, the irrefutable math, like you can rely on law of attraction and just sit there at home and your chances are 0 or very close to 0. I wouldn't say anything's completely 0% or guaranteed. But if you're not even meeting or interacting with anyway with the girls you want to attract, for example, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You can increase those chances drastically by simple math, by actually going to where those girls hang out so you can meet them. If you never meet them or interact with them, you know, and you're not doing it in you know, percentage and area where you are valued based off the competition, then there's a huge difference in probability there. Now, I don't think law of attraction is completely BS. I think there's certain tendencies, as mentioned, there's a function of using it psychologically to you know, not give up on your life, to persevere, to have hope. Like that's really what some of these people really want out of it. Maybe deep down they know, you know, they're not going to get $1 million, or maybe they think they do, and it's a, you know, long shot pipe dream, but they want to buy into that lie to make themselves feel better. A lot of people do that. They spend a lot of money on a lot of merchandise and stuff to perpetuate a lie, like, you know, I'm still young, or, you know, I'm loved, or whatever it is, to perpetuate a lie that makes them feel better. And if that's the function, that is the function. Gary Vaynerchuk, I think he succinctly explains law of attraction, or his view on it. He's like, sure, it's good to kind of like, put your goals into the world, but then you have to work for it. You can't be like, I want $1 million, and then you just continue to play video games in a leisurely way, and do nothing to work towards those goals. Like, at the very least, start a YouTube channel, actively work on improving your video game skills to maybe become a video game YouTuber. But even then, it's going to require a lot of hard work. There's a lot of competition in the video game YouTubing space now too. So you have to do something to work towards that $1 million. You can't just continue being lazy, because at the end of the day, it is a competitive marketplace with supply and demand at play. So that's my thoughts on law of attraction. I think the biggest takeaway for you guys is that you have to actually do whatever you can within your control to increase your chances. And you can even use simple math to explain this irrefutably. There's a big difference between just putting it out there and then doing something about it versus putting it out there and doing nothing. If your goal, there's there's the law of attraction idea that just put it out there and it'll be given to you. But how does that work if you're like, let's say you have no prospects, you're overweight, you have no social skills, and you live in a small town in Alabama with a population of 100 people, all mining, in the mining industry, and everyone's like over 50 except you and your mom or your sister. In that city or that town, doesn't matter how much you put it out there, if you're not doing anything about it, it's just gonna, like, you're not even gonna have a chance of meeting a girl if your goal is to date a decent girl, because the numbers, the supply and demand of your whole lifestyle are giving you a 0% chance, or very close to 0% chance. I mean, there's always the 0.00001% possibility that, like, it'll fall into your lap. Maybe some girl flies in and has to work there for work, and then you stumble across each other. But even that's severely unlikely, like, especially if you're sitting there at home all day and you are not going out there and meeting them. She'll have to be, once again, a cable guy or plumber who kind of flies in and somehow, in this 2 hours she fixes your cable or toilet, somehow, reveals to you that she wants to date you, and you hit it off. Highly unlikely. So there's so much within our control, and so the biggest takeaway is don't use law of attraction as a crutch. The final, I think, real practical use of the law of attraction is to kind of heighten your reticular activation system, to start taking notice and being mindfully aware of what you're missing out on, and therefore capturing more opportunities you would have missed. So we have thousands of stimuli. In fact, right now in this instance, I'm being bombarded with tons of stimuli. The sun, the sounds of the cars passing by, the wind, the trees, the insects. And so we have hundreds, if not thousands, of stimuli. And what happens is our brain unconsciously and naturally, kind of blocks out most of those stimuli, so we don't overwhelm our processing system, and we focus on what matters to us. And by kind of pointing out something that you want your brain to kind of pick up more, you'll start noticing it more, because you're not just kind of letting it pass you by without noticing it anymore. So you see this happen when, let's say you want to buy a Tesla, and all of a sudden you see all these Teslas on the road. It's because they were always there, but you never noticed them before. And so in a similar way, like, you can call it law of attraction, but it's just simply being aware of this more and setting that as a goal to be more aware of it. You can use this to find more opportunities to get you closer to your goals. Let's say you want to be an actor. Once you put this out to the world, as they say, you will notice small opportunities, maybe Facebook statuses or people mentioning acting gigs that you wouldn't have noticed before because you weren't as active in pursuing it. That's it. See ya.